the tragedy of Darth Plagueis' life.
It is during this time in the Senate chambers that Palpatine recites and recalls the story and fate of his own Sith Master to the young manipulated Chosen One Anakin Skywalker, who he hopes to corrupt to the dark side. Darth Plagueis was one of the most powerful Sith Lords in modern Star Wars, widely considered to be in or among the top 10 most powerful Sith Lords of all time, surpassing beings such as Malgus, Darth Vader, and many other beings. Darth Plagueis trained to perfection Darth Sidious, the culmination of the rule of two line established by Darth Bane. One of the most old and powerful Sith Lords, Plagueis' story spans an entire century, one of the only Sith to ever reach that age alongside Palpatine, Vitiate, and Marco Ragnos, and many other Sith Lords of old. Greeting, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. I have been expecting you. Today we are going to be recording Darth Plagueis' most powerful abilities and Force attunement. His Force attunement was such, it was stated to be just below that of Grand Master Yoda, the Supreme Avatar of the Light and the Grand Master of the Jedi Order before the rise of Luke Skywalker. Darth Plagueis was a Muun Sith Lord that was born between 147 and 120 BBY on Megiddo. He lived for roughly a century and could have even surpassed this, however, due to the dates and chronological timelines are rusty. In Star Wars lore, Plagueis trained to perfection Darth Sidious. So, as we know, Sidious's tremendous power and affinity for the dark side clearly surpass almost any other being in galactic history. What was the strength and iron will of his master? What power did Plagueis possess compared to Sidious? And could he beat him in an altercation? Are you ready, my friends? Let's begin, delving into the complete power of Darth Plagueis the Wise. With the Force, Plagueis was able to directly manipulate the essence of life itself, a power Palpatine believed was directly tied to his inward sight. Plagueis eventually extended this ability and molded it to the form where he could save others from death, and when his power was applied to the extreme, he could create new life organisms and forms from the midichlorian found in all life forms. Another extreme example of this technique's application is how it could be used to raise the dead back to life, as shown when it was used against Darth Venomous. For some context, Darth Venomous was the secret Sith apprentice that Darth Tenebrous took under his wing after establishing and concluding that Plagueis would never rise up to defeat him. Plagueis killed Darth Venomous multiple times and resurrected him many times in 42 BBY, 10 years before his death. Plagueis also discovered the ability to retain one's identity in the Force while becoming one with it, an ability that Luke Skywalker would later learn. But in this manner, surviving death did not appeal to him, as he was not concerned with the non-material world and wanted to exist as an eternal Sith God that would never be overthrown. Plagueis was extremely proficient in the art of lightsaber combat, and although he disdained using his blade in combat, believing like his master Darth Tenebrous and his Padawan Darth Sidious, that while you do not need to be a superior to every Jedi in the Order in the art of blade work, it would be good if you could, as it would be easier to defeat them and toy with them in an altercation. He was very skilled with it, regarding lightsaber duels as tedious affairs. Tenebrous views his apprentice as a master and pioneer of the art, specializing in parts of Form 6 Naiman, Form 7 Juyo, and possibly aspects of Form 3 Sarisu. He was able to run in a blitz of speed so fast during his duel with Darth Venomous that an onlooker would have thought him as a thunderbolt racing through the trees. Skilled in the more unorthodox, ethereal, and cryptic applications of the Force, he was skilled in conjuring Force illusions, convincing enough to fool the immense powerful Darth Sidious, the most powerful Sith Lord of his age and beyond. Plagueis was also an extremely capable combatant, being able to absorb a countless barrage of blaster bolts, then channeling it into his Force lightning, an ability he was also very skilled in. However, his proficiency in Force lightning would never rise to be as skilled and potent as his apprentices in Sidious. While fighting his assassins, Plagueis was able to use a heart-stuffing technique to keep 2 of his 3 hearts from failing. For some more context, Muns, the location that Plagueis and species he was a part of, were typically born with 3 hearts, allowing them to live for exceptionally long lives. Similarly to this, Dathomiri and Zabraks, like Darth Maul, were born with 2 hearts, making them extremely difficult to kill, and it was the reason Darth Maul survived his confrontation with Obi-Wan and Naboo. He was able to atomize 6 of his assailants at once, and conjuring up a force wave so powerful, and bring it around to atomize a few more. His force bellow was as powerful as any sonic weapon and blaster, and he was able to turn any object into a deadly projectile with just a clap of his hands, similarly to the technique Abeloth employed during her siege of Coruscant, where she destroyed buildings and sought pieces of glass and weapons out to impale and kill other beings. He apparently was also capable of convection and or pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis being the ability of manipulating fire or flame, as he was able to melt snowflakes before they reached his person on Mygeeto. Although Plagueis lost his tremendous foresight ability after Tenebrous died at his hands, the power seemed to reappear a day before Tenebrous's murder, as demonstrated when he had received a vision of the Battle of Ben Damak. Later, days before his own death, he glimpsed the surrounding Darth Maul and Anakin Skywalker respectively. Plagueis also believed to have perfected the art of Sith alchemy. With the entire knowledge of the Rule of 2 at his fingertips, there was little Plagueis did not know about ancient Sith lore. Additionally, he was aware of some of the more obscure and cryptic techniques of the Jedi Order, such as Emerald Lightning, a non-lethal variation of Force Lightning employed by Luke Skywalker, also known as Electric Judgment employed by Plo Koon. He also utilized the Sever Force ability, the same ability that could strip a Jedi or Sith from their connection to the Force momentarily, and prolonged exposure could kill the midichlorians inside them entirely, though he was not known to use these powers himself. Beyond his Force powers and abilities, he was also a canny manipulator of others and was skilled at the management of his business and the other responsibilities of the life he led, a part of his role as a Sith. Plagueis possessed tremendous political power in the galaxy, being the head of the Damak Holdings, which was a fragment of the intergalactic banking clan which controlled a lot of the galaxy's own funds. Plagueis had the ability to cut a planet's funds off and money at will, and due to his high status as Hego Damak, the leader of the international banking clan, or at least a large portion of it, he was able to manipulate beings into doing what he wanted by threatening their homeworlds and things they held dear, due to the fact that Plagueis learned that money, while a valuable tool, was nowhere compared to the power of the Force. Well, my friend, what did you think of this breakdown on the true power of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis is truly one of my favourite characters in all of Star Wars, and one of the greatest Sith Lords ever. Be sure to tune in roughly a week, where I upload a premiere video detailing Exar Kun and Ulic Qel-Droma versus Revan and Malak from the Old Republic era, depicting their power and tremendous skill. Goodbye, acolytes. I'll see you in a galaxy far, far away. And I hope that you learn the ability to manipulate the midichlorians to save your loved ones from dying.